Hello, hello, humans. Good to see you and good morning. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of your favorite talk show, broadcasting live from the fair Isle of Serjay. It is your color surfing DJ, Serjay Svek. Good to have you here. Welcome, welcome, everybody. And thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in live. And for those who are watching the VOD, hello, hello, and welcome once again. And it's good to see you all, and I hope that you have been doing well today. And for a number of you coming in from the Philippines, I hope that you are doing well. And it is very, very early in the morning. Some of you are already here. So I would just like to give a shout out to Hiroda and to I. Good to have you here. It's your first time here, as you said, so welcome, welcome. And also to I, as usual, thank you very much for dropping by. Glad to have you here. And Hiroda, greeting me straight from Norway. Good to have you here. Welcome, welcome. Hope that it is not too cold over there in your neck of the woods. Over here, it is not too bad, relatively speaking. It's, what's this? It's very cold. When I say cold here, we're talking about like Philippine cold, like 14. No, not 14. Almost 20 degrees, or perhaps 20 degrees. Yeah, in your neck of the woods, it's super ice cold, I could tell. I always wanted to be able to experience the snow, but I don't think I'll be able to handle the cold that you have to go through, Hiroda. But thank you for making the time to come over here in the minus 20 degree weather. Goodness gracious. It's, my goodness. If I had to go through there, I probably would have frozen and died a long, long time ago. But I don't know how you managed to cope with that, but you have my respect as well. I guess the only thing that I could think of to be able to survive in that kind of weather would be layers and layers and layers of clothing. As in a colorful popsicle indeed. That's what I probably would think is gonna happen to me, definitely. But yeah, that would be an interesting sight to see. Colorful popsicle labeled Serjay Svek. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, it's Friday today, so for a number of my viewers, either live or on the VOD, it's gonna be, final day of the work week, final day of the school week, and then they'll be able to enjoy the weekend once again. What plans do you all have, by the way? For me, I know that I'm going to be streaming, of course, but what's going to happen after that is probably going to be a bit of a mystery. I don't really have anything big planned when it comes to the touching grass side of things. With my work schedule, it's always a bit more difficult to decide if I'm able to go out or not and such. So there's that. That's always the challenge when it comes to me. But if I know, then I'll definitely try to make plans for it. I'll definitely try to accommodate it. But yeah, it's good to have everybody here to be able to accommodate that. Feel free to let me know in the chat or in the comments when the VOD comes up in a couple of days. But yeah, the topic for today is pretty much how I've been feeling lately. And I did leave a warning on Twitter and on this message that I may be touching on a few heavier topics in this episode of DJ Serjay. So I just want to let people know that they are definitely free to click away if they don't want to be burdened by this, especially since, I'm primarily talking about the Philippine audience here. It's very early in the morning, so I don't want to force you to let me darken your doorstep. So feel free to do that. If you still wish to stay, then thank you very much. Just keep that in mind, that I may talk about some very personal things. But in light of that, it's not something. Well, I don't know if we could say it's like light or not in hindsight. We'll just have to, go through it and then we'll decide, and then I'll probably think about it. But we'll just see. We'll just see. So, how I've been feeling so far? Well, this past week has been quite challenging in terms of my health because I felt sick again. I had a cold earlier this week, around Tuesday, and excuse me, the most difficult part of getting a cold for me is always the coughing that comes after, especially now that we still have the pandemic happening. You can never be too sure if the cough that you're having is related to a cold or related to COVID or a flu or anything like that. There's always that fear, and it affects me also a little more greatly because I was a survivor of COVID back in July. And I'm just grateful that by the time I already had it, I already had at least up to one booster. So it wasn't as bad as I thought. It was just a fever that really, really knocked me out for like a week. Goodness gracious. Horrible. But I could not imagine what it was like for those people who had to survive without had to those people who did suffer under COVID when the vaccines weren't even made back in the 2020. So, especially my sister, because she had it before the vaccines happened, and that was the worst part because she was the person designated in my family to go out. Let's say if we needed to buy groceries or do something, she was the only one able to do so. So it was really difficult, and I'm sure that it weighed heavily on her when she got sick, and we had to quarantine her for a week or two. And the same thing happened to me. In the week or two that I spent quarantined, I could not think of anything else but how much of a burden I was to my family, to my coworkers, to the people who, I thought might be interested in me streaming. It weighed heavily on my mind. And the thing that I really wanted to do the most was to be able to get better, and so that I would be able to do all the things that I used to do before I became sick. And when I got sick with a cold earlier this week, some of the memories began to come back too, But perhaps not to the same degree, because I know this is a cold at least, so it should go away eventually. But the fact of the matter is that, there's always this fear for me to, not be a burden to anybody. Especially when it comes to work. Because for those of you who don't know, I work graveyard shift. So I work all the way through the night, all the way to early morning. Which also explains why I have this stream very early in the morning, when normally other people in the Philippines would be streaming at night. And that's why sometimes I don't get to stay too long if you stream at night, because chances are I just pop by during my work breaks to, say hello, drop a few bits maybe, and then just and then leave. And I apologize for that if you wanted to talk more to me, but I'll do what I can. Anyway, going back to the main topic, I did not want to be a burden to my coworkers this week. And also, not only are we had a more unusual hour of shift, but I also have to deal with the fact that I'm the first person. So I'm like the opener. Kind of like, if you have a store or a fast food restaurant or something like that. Usually, if you're open for a very long time, someone has to be the first person or the opener to, take care of setting everything up, opening the door, making sure everything comes in, so that when people come in during the middle or towards the end of the workday, that everything will be smooth. And because of the nature of my work, I definitely could choose to go on leave. But the thing is, in the back of my mind, I did not want to go on leave, no matter how sick I felt. Because, I didn't want to force the person next to me to say, hey, I'm sick. So do you mind if you, head to the office like a couple of hours earlier so that you'll be able to accommodate the shift that I'm supposed to take? And for me, that was horrible. So I didn't want to do that at all. And I wanted to avoid that. But before that, I just want to acknowledge the presence of Graham. Thank you very much for the raid, Graham. Glad to have you here, and thank you very much for sharing your community with me. My name is Serjay, and also known as DJ Serjay Svek. And I am your color surfing DJ, broadcasting live from the Color Surfer Station in the fair Isle of Serjavia. Normally, I play games like Splatoon and other Switch games like Fall Guys, Sifu, Dark Souls, and a bunch of other things. But you're catching me on my weekly broadcast called DJ Serjay every Friday, 6:23 a.m. in the Philippines. That's +8 GMT/UTC. And during those times, I just, tend to ramble and talk about a bunch of things that interest me for a couple of hours. So thank you. Thank you for choosing to share your community with me, Graham. I greatly appreciate it. And for those of you who don't know, Graham is a very an amazing VTuber, who also focuses more on, charity work and such. So if you want to go ahead and support Graham, I have already automatically given him a shout out in the chat. So thank you once again, Graham, for sharing your community. It is greatly appreciated. But I also want to let everybody know that we have a caveat today, because we're talking about something a bit more personal, so, and probably a bit heavier. So just letting everybody know that for this particular episode, at least, we're focusing on some heavier topics. Nothing too heavy, of course, but probably something a little heavier than the usual DJ Serjay episode. But in future episodes, if you choose to follow me and you want to get notifications, definitely future episodes will be a little bit lighter. I just have some things that I want to get off my chest. But if you want to see more of my gameplay streams, which are definitely a lot more frantic, especially if I play Dark Souls, I will be playing Saturday and Sunday evening at 8 p.m. That's +8 GMT or UTC. And maybe I can catch you there if you're interested. Okay, so I was talking about how I became sick. And, oh, you're welcome for the shout out. No worries about that, Graham. So, yeah, I was sick this week, and I didn't want to burden my coworkers. I didn't want them to have to go wake up much earlier, so that they can take over the first shift, which was my assigned shift for this time. I don't want to do that. I don't want to force them to do that. So even though I was exhausted, even though I was coughing a lot, I didn't want to do that. Those people, in my mind, they already had their own issues they had to work with, probably taking care of families or things like that. And I think the last thing that I wanted to do to them was to, dump the fact that, hey, I'm sick, I got myself sick again. You mind if you go ahead and take over? So I went to work this week. And even though I forced myself to go to work, What made me feel really bad though was that I did not go to the gym this week so far. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I didn't get to go to the gym, and that makes me feel bad. Not only because I'm missing out on exercise, but because I still have some sessions left over with my personal trainer, my coach, and I don't gym, the gymnasium, Graham, exercise, the gymnasium. So yeah, I didn't want to go miss out on my coaching sessions because we do have a few left, and I didn't want to. And we've been going at it since October, but because of things like the December holidays and because I got sick last December, bad dad joke. Sorry, I guess I'm a bit off my element today, Graham, but that was a good one. Now that I realize it. But yeah, I don't like, canceling things. If you know me for a long enough time, you might know that I feel awful whenever I do things like cancel appointments, and such. I want to make sure that if I say this, that I'm going to do this, then I have to make sure that I will proceed with doing this. So if we're gonna be going to the gym on Monday to Thursday, then I have to be available on Monday and Thursday. The problem is that I decided that I would spend my time at work instead of making an effort to go to the gym. And I felt bad about that. Well, in my mind, my justification was, work pays me. I get paid to go to work, not paid to go to the gym. I pay my coach. But I guess what made me feel bad is because, based on what my coach told me, if we don't have a session, he doesn't have an extra commission. So I can, I also want to be able to provide a little more help to the coach by showing up. But, if it came down to it, I probably would just focus on going to work if I can. And it wasn't an easy decision. When it comes to things like, asking for permission to go on leave because I'm sick, whatever reason, especially at work, I don't know about you. Let me know if this happens to you too. But for me, it takes me like maybe an hour before I can actually send the text. I need to actually gather the courage to be able to finally say, I'm sorry, I cannot handle this. I'm too busy, or I'm sick, or I just can't be there for whatever reason. So will you allow me to be excused? And all that time spent or wasted, trying to figure out what would be the best message to say. And in the end, all they would say is, okay, fine, no problem. Oh my goodness, that has happened to me so many times. Every single time I feel hesitant to actually tell them how I feel. And in the end, a number of them are accommodating. And because of that, I actually feel guilty. I feel guilty about it because it's like, I spend so much time worrying about something that shouldn't have been worried about. But I can't help it, It's just how I was raised, I guess, and brought up. I was always told that you have to make yourself available for other people. You have to be there to help. You have to always step up. Serjay, you need to show other people that you are better than them. And how can you show that you are better than them? Well, you always have to be available. You always have to show them that you are ready, that you are willing to step up to the plate, that whatever challenge comes your way, you are always there to say, yes, I can do it. Or yes, I can handle it. Something like that. Anything like that. I've lived that way all my life. And I'll tell you what, it's not been easy. It's not been easy at all. And this is where the heavy part comes in, by the way. So, if you choose to continue listening, thank you. But if you want to click away, that's fine. Okay, I understand. It's very difficult trying to live your life, trying to live up to the expectations of other people. Or maybe before we get to that point, it's very difficult trying to live your life focusing on helping others, being a person for others. I remember in school, that was a lesson that was drilled into us, be a person for others. I may be oversimplifying it and probably misinterpreting it. So if that's the case, I'm wrong. But if you take the statement at face value, that just means that, you have to focus on the other people. Don't just worry about yourself. Or, like, if you want to live your life, because sometimes seeking happiness sometimes requires you to be selfish. Whether it's trying to treat yourself to something nice, or maybe it's because you want to get that job, or you want to get into a relationship. I'm only saying that because those were mentioned in some manga before. And that probably shows my lack of life experience. Sometimes you have to decide that, yeah, I want to do this. This is for me. But I've lived my life, being told that, no, that's not how you're supposed to do things. You're always supposed to think about the other people. And you're not supposed to ask for any kind of reward or expect any kind of reward. Which is true. I mean, you're supposed to do good things, without expecting any kind of reward. Because if that's the case, then you're just, playing with people. Why do good if that's the case? That's not doing good anymore. But I've lived all my life like that. And my worst fear is actually disappointing people in that sense. Because whenever a difficult job came along, whenever something happens, let's say, for example, someone is sick at work, or something happens all of a sudden at work, and people are scrambling. They're trying to find out, hey, who's gonna be doing this thing? What's happening? Like that. And then I see nobody answers. Nobody is stepping up. And I'm like, oh, I don't know what's happening. I don't know why is nobody stepping up. Well, before anybody else tries to answer, I tried to answer already. Like, okay, let me go ahead and take care of this. And it happens quite a lot. I lose my time. I spend more effort, but the job is done. And because of that, I've been known all my life as the person who you can depend on. And that comes with a lot of expectations, Especially when the time comes for you to finally say no. When the time finally comes for you to say no, people will be like, oh, Serjay, why are you saying no now? You were always available before. Like that. And then the fear, the anxiety gnaws at me, It starts digging into my brain. Like, oh, I'm doing something bad. You know, saying no and wanting to take time for myself is bad. You know, um, I should always put my duty or my responsibility above myself, above my needs, whatever that means. Because if you think about it, in comparison to the other people that I'm with, my needs are pretty shallow in comparison. Objectively speaking, I don't have a family of my own. Well, aside from my parents, but I don't have any kids. I don't have any home. I don't have a home. I don't have property to rent or pay for. I don't have a car or a lease or anything that could be considered like the burdens of other people, you know? I'm still relatively young. I'm single. I'm not putting anybody through school because in some situations, you know, especially if you're one of the older children in the family, a part of your salary usually goes to help with the tuition of your younger siblings who are still in school. So I don't have to worry about that. I was born into privilege, pretty much. So, you know, if I will say no, then who am I to complain, you know? Because other people will be more greatly inconvenienced if I say no, if I don't sacrifice. Because, you know, if I go sick, for example, if I take a sick leave, then they will have to spend extra time, you know, away from their families or for whatever reason, personal reason they may have. And, you know, I've had experiences where people have told me that, you know, they had to lose something or they had to sacrifice something to cover up for me. And that felt awful, of course. I felt awful. And even if they don't tell me those things, I already feel awful because, you know, in my mind, it feels like I am being selfish for, you know, trying to take a leave because I am sick or because I want a vacation or just because, you know, or just because I finally, you know, am overwhelmed with things. I want to stay away just for like a day or two. So I can't really enjoy my vacations, actually. Because a part of me is always worrying about responsibilities that are coming back. That's kind of the sad thing, isn't it? Nah. You know, those are the times when you're supposed to be enjoying yourself. When you're supposed to not think about things. But I can't help it. You know? A part of me is always just wondering, what's everybody else doing back there, you know? And that's what also drove me to summarize. That's what drove me to not go on sick leave this week. Because I would have felt awful. I don't want to, you know, force people to go through whatever kind of, you know, extra load that they have to go through. And just because, you know, just because my body couldn't handle it. You know, some people, they go to work even though they're sick. So, like, what's my excuse, you know? They go to work when they're sick, even though they have to take care of their own families, even though they have to travel very far. What about me? You know, there's always that comparison that happens. And the thing that I really don't like is, you know, being told that, oh, Serjay, you know, this person went to work because even though they had to take care of their families, even though they have to miss, you know, this and that and this and that because, you know, they have to do this. So it's it's something that has happened before. Oh, by the way, thank you for the redeem, Reeker. Appreciate it. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, it has happened before. You know that I have been told this and that and this and that, that I'm inconveniencing people because of, you know, they have their own familial or whatever duties, and because I happen to get sick, or whatever reason, then, I'm making it life more difficult for them. So I feel guilt tripped, of course. And I would love to not compare, Reeker. I appreciate that. But, it's just like, it's so ingrained in my brain now that I can't just, turn it off. It's like how do I say? It's like a switch you can never really turn off. It's always going to be there, Sacrifices have to be made. And sometimes they just have to deal with it, That's what I think. I know it's not healthy, okay? Let's be clear here, everybody. I recognize that what I am doing is not healthy. It's just very hard to break. And, you can't really just undo this all of a sudden. But I'm trying. I was also... Some part of me also is like, worrying deep down because, this is a very heavy topic, especially in the Philippines where it's very early in the morning. I didn't want to talk about this, but some part of me also wanted to talk about this because, I was brought up in a culture where it's unbecoming of a man. Well, let's just generalize it first. As a person, to like air out their feelings. You always have to think about other people, about the community, because people will definitely say, "Oh, hui, si Serjay," or "Hey, Serjay is, talking about this, and did you know about this, blah, 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 blah," like that. Gossip spreads like wildfire here. And what more if I do it on the internet? And what more because a lot of people know who I am in real life. I am awful at keeping my own secret that I am a VTuber and a streamer. So do not be like me, okay? If you want to have your separation of your streaming life and your personal life, then take from my example and please don't be like me. And hello, Irushihara. Thank you very much also for dropping by. Hiyo. Good to have you here. Welcome. Okay, so where was I? Yeah. So it's difficult to try to voice out these opinions or voice out my feelings because, as Riker says, we have marites. And marites is like a Tagalog slang for the people that gossip. So, people who go in the corners and go, "Hey, you know what? What happened to this neighbor's kid?" and stuff like that, blah, 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 like that. So, if you think about it, it's not just bad that I'm talking about this, apparently, but it's also worse because I am talking about this to people online and even to a bigger audience, potentially bigger audience, mind you. So, oh no, it's not a tea like gossip about other people, Urishihara. That's not my thing. This is more of my feelings, my situation. So, summarizing it is more of like I don't want to be a burden to people. And it all came about because I was sick this week, and I did not want to call in sick for work because that would have caused some issues with people, especially since they may have other responsibilities. And I don't want to call them in and say, hey, I'm sick. And can you do the opening shift for me, for example? So there. That's more of my focus. I'm not really good when it comes to tea. So, yeah. I try to keep things more to myself. I spill the tea against myself. I am my own worst enemy. But yeah, it's also possibly difficult for me because, if I talk about heavy issues like these, whether it's with friends or with you guys, my audience, online, some part of me also feels, really bad too. Because it feels like, I'm dumping, I'm dumping my trauma. Trauma dumping. Goodness gracious, that's the term. I'm trauma dumping. So that's why I made sure that, when I was on Twitter and in this chat right now, I had to put in that comment that says, hey, you know what, this is a bit different from what you normally deal with in the DJ Serjay episodes. So, if you don't want to deal with that so early in the morning in the Philippines, I have that's not a problem with me. Okay? You're free to tune in to another episode when we're a bit more colorful and more lively. But isn't calling sick normal, Reeker says? Yes, it is. But it's just the nature of my shift now means that, it's a bit more difficult. If it were like last year, then yes, definitely I could more easily do so because I have more people covering for me. But, we have to be a bit more delicate this time. Urushihara says, it's okay to let some things out to others so they can suffer too. Okay. Perhaps. But, how I was taught to do things all my life was that, you can't burden other people with your own problems. That's why I usually don't. I always found it difficult, to actually talk to people about how I feel. Even my own best friends. So if people will say, oh, I have an open ear. If anything is bothering you, Serjay, go ahead and just reach out to me. And I'm like, okay, thanks. And I'm never gonna talk to you. Yeah, it's a difficult habit to break. Mostly because, like what I mentioned and what Reeker pointed out, I tend to compare myself with other people. And so, for example, I go to my friend who, one of my best friends is someone with a family, is struggling with a lot of personal problems, with work or, their own goals, for example. And if I go to her and ask for, hey, you know what, can I have 30 minutes of your time? I'm going to talk about, how I don't feel right for whatever reason. In comparison to her, in my mind, my problems are nothing, So why would I dump something else, another weight on her when she's already full? So that's always on my mind whenever I'm debating whether to vent or to share how I feel. Because I also was taught, to understand where other people are coming from. You have to know that people have their own problems. They have their own journeys. So just because they may be dealing with it or appear to be dealing with it well now doesn't mean that, it's always been easy. Perhaps they're just better at coping, or they have a better coping mechanism, rather, excuse me, than I do. So, and it's not fair for me to just, dump my problems on them just because. And even if they give permission, or they say they're open, it still doesn't feel right. Because what are my problems to theirs? Is what I always say. So then, perhaps you might be asking yourself, so, Serjay, if that's so difficult, sharing problems with, like, your friends, for example, then why are you doing it live on stream to a bunch of other people? With a whole bunch of people, that could be potentially watching? That's a very good question. And especially in a medium like streaming, where the streams would eventually be available and some people would go back and say, oh, Serjay talked about this in February 10, like that. And truth be told, it's a difficult thing to say. I mean, or rather, it's kind of difficult, But, I've been trying to keep it in. And I understand what you're saying, Rishihara, that venting out is okay, but keeping it to yourself is much better. Speaking from experience, that's understandable. But after a while, keeping it to yourself, excuse me, you're gonna break under the pressure. So the best thing that I could do is just talk to an audience. And I think this goes back to my experience also with public speaking. Because if you don't know, I have a history of public speaking in school. And I'll admit that I'm a lot more comfortable when I speak to an audience. It doesn't matter how big it is, but even just seeing all those faces, I feel a lot more comfortable, being able to talk to or speak to a bunch of people. It's when I actually am stuck in a room and I look at someone face to face, eye to eye. That's when I'm terrified. When I have to do an interview, or maybe we have an examination in school where I have to defend my thesis or something like that, It's a lot more difficult for me to cope with. I would rather have to deal with an audience. Because if you think about it, there are like a lot of eyes looking at you if ever you're in a public venue. But if you think about it, not all of them are focused on you. So, and eventually they will all just meld into some big shapeless thing, in my mind. But if you just are stuck with only one person that you're conversing with, then you're stuck, trying to make sure that what you have to say is interesting. What you have to say is worth your time. So, yeah. I see you got black. Well, today is a Friday, so definitely, Rishihara, tomorrow will be a lot better. I really hope I don't have to resort to getting a breakdown once or twice a week. This is your regularly scheduled breakdown. Wow. Goodness gracious. Alright, so... Well... Today, mine is orange today. I'm unique. Okay. That's good. That makes me feel a bit better. Reeker says, in those situations, I would love to be not the first one to talk. Definitely. I can understand why, because, having to break the ice in tense situations like those can be a nightmare. And, oh, someone is jealous of you, Reeker. Probably because, you're doing an amazing job in life. So you've got some haters. So don't worry about it. Just keep doing what you do. You'll be fine. But yeah, that's just pretty much what I wanted to talk about, focusing on that. That, I'm trying to break out of the bad habit of, thinking that whenever I try to do something, quote unquote, selfish, such as calling in sick for work, or trying to file a leave, or, saying no in general, I'm trying to break the habit of not feeling bad about it. Because currently, if I do, then I won't be able to enjoy my vacations. I won't be able to focus on getting better if I'm sick. But I'll say, just like a number of bad habits that have grown over the years, it is difficult. It is going to be a hard, arduous journey. But, as someone, I don't know about your ages, but for someone who's been here for a while, I'll say that, there will be times that you're going to stumble. And sometimes you're going to stumble a heck of a lot more than others. But, yeah. You just got to keep going sometimes, Keep on trucking, keep on soldiering on. Because what else is there for us, really? No, if you want to stay alive, sometimes you just have to keep on going. Okay, good. Black is your favorite color. That's nice. Yeah, life goes on. Indeed, Reeker. That's, I remember that's a song actually by Tupac Shakur, a rapper. Talking about, especially during his time in California with the gang, I believe that was what was happening, the gang wars and stuff like that. But life goes on. You may have lost a lot of people on the way, but life goes on. And it can be scary because it's like, you just go on with life, but, that's just how it is. That's the nature of the thing. So we just try to do it what we can. Well, I wasn't really going for that, but life is a highway. Okay, sorry. Oh, wow, I'm peaking. Goodness gracious, I thought we stopped the peaking there. Sorry about that. Life is a highway. Okay, there we go. Itchy, good to see you here. Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you here. My name is Serjay. I'm your favorite color surfing DJ, broadcasting live from the fair Isle of Serjavia from the Color Surfer Station. DJ Serjay Svek. And yes, glad to have you here. Welcome. And if you haven't heard of me, I normally play games on the Switch such as Splatoon, Dark Souls, Sifu, and a whole bunch of other things. But every week, I have a stream on Friday called DJ Serjay, where I talk about things and rant about it for a couple of hours. So glad to have you here. Itchy, thank you very much, and thank you for sharing your community. I hope your stream went well, and you have a good rest. Thank you once again. So, Arushihara says, life goes on after a plunge. Then you'll plunge even further. Yeah. Take the Pepsi plunge. Or take the Nesty plunge, It's all about that, But there's nothing we could really do about it because that's the nature of life. We who choose to live here and keep going, have to understand that that's just how it is, It's never going to be smooth sailing. There's always going to be those rough waters. There's always going to be the tough times. And as much as we would like to be stronger, as much as we would like to wish for the easier times, it's not gonna always come when you wish for it. yeah, go ahead and get some coffee, Urashihara. I know for a number of you it's very early in the morning, so go ahead and enjoy a cup of coffee. And yeah, that's it. But yeah, it's just pretty much how it is, how we're trying to deal with it. We try to cope as best as we can. And I'm kind of lost, actually. I think I've said what I pretty much wanted to say. That things are not as difficult as you sometimes think they are. Sometimes in my head, I think a lot. And I think a lot, okay? I'm the undisputed champion of overthinking. And I'm trying to break the habit, trying to break the habit of comparing myself to others, whether it's, envy at their success or trying not to burden them with my responsibilities if I need to say no. So that's pretty much the takeaway for today, is that, and also to summarize, is that the reason why I'm also sharing this, especially these heavy topics so early in the morning, at least in the Philippines, is that, as Rieker would say, and thank you for the comment, tame seas don't make sailors, which is true. As much as we would like to have, calm seas most of the time, we are going to end up in rough waters eventually, sooner or later. It's going to be difficult. Life is suffering, living is suffering. Hell is other people, according to Albert Camus. So, yeah. But the fact of the matter is that we're here alive on this earth, quote unquote, in hell, apparently. But, what else is there for us? As we are given a lot of capabilities to be able to cope with these things. And we're a lot stronger than what we think, We're a lot more capable than what we think. It's not going to always be easy, of course, but, if you think about it, you were always able to survive everything that life has thrown at you. All the tough waves, all the storms, everything. So, if you're listening to this, don't be afraid to pat yourselves on the back, because you deserve it, really. That's a very good lesson, Rieker. Nowadays, I learn not to envy people and just be happy for them. Yes, that was a very, very difficult lesson for me to learn. For a number of years, I became very envious of people, especially if it was something that I believed that I should be good at. Case in point, I was one of those students, when I was told by my teachers that I would make a good writer someday because they liked my poems and stuff. And then I thought, that's what I'm destined to be. But then, when I grew older, I found out that my writing sucked. Probably because I didn't really practice it. And then a bunch of my other friends, who I thought at the time were not quote unquote writing material, they got published. And that hurt my ego. That hurt a ton. Made me think, why is it that they get to do it and then not me? Well, Serjay, it's because you didn't practice your writing. Of course they are better than you. But of course, it also means that, you can't, you have no ground to be jealous of these people if you didn't put in the effort. So, just do what you can, and if their time comes, learn to be happy for them. that's just pretty much what we could do. And when it's your time, maybe you'll be able to get your time in the sun. And that's just how it is. And hopefully you will have people that will support you too. So, treasure the people that you consider are important. And even though you may be afraid of disappointing them, like I am, that's why I don't want to talk to people about my problems, or why I don't want to burden them with these sorts of things. If and when I finally feel overwhelmed to the point that I desperately need their help, I am always surprised every time, because they say, sure, you should have told me that earlier, And I'm shocked, because it's like, oh God, how come I never learned this lesson? But yeah, sometimes the lessons are a little more difficult to learn, for in my case. We have an ad starting soon, so just be aware of that. We're just going to be taking, I may just be stepping away for, a bit. And then we'll definitely continue talking. So if you want to go ahead and get some coffee, get some early breakfast, feel free to do so. If you wish to come back, then welcome back. If you need to do other things, especially since it's very early in the morning in the Philippines, I completely understand. If you want to go ahead and check out the VOD that will be this VOD that will be available maybe tomorrow evening, for example, then definitely go check out my YouTube channel. If you want to hang out with me and my community, the humans, we also have a Discord server available. So feel free to do so, and maybe we can catch you there. We talk mostly a lot about food and some memes. So definitely, you're very, very welcome there. Just reading this comment here. Reeker says, pulls out the "you can do it, we believe in you" card. Aw. That really brightens my day. Thank you. Thank you, Reeker. Excuse me. Well, to just, pause a bit for me, how is everybody else doing? Do you have any weekend plans? I could probably use some inspiration. I know for a fact that I will be streaming, so for those of you who are interested in my schedule, especially for those who came in from the raids, I'm actually going to be streaming tomorrow night, Philippine time, 8 p.m. So that's for those international followers, or viewers rather, that's +8 GMT or UTC. And that's going to be either Dark Souls or Splatoon on the Nintendo Switch. And Splatoon is a bit interesting because we are going to be it's going to be Splatfest this time. And Splatfest requires that you pick a side, one of 3 choices, and then you get to vote and play for that side and then win. So I'm going to share the theme of the Splatfest for Splatoon 3, and I would like to see what your opinions are. So it's going to be dark choco, milk choco, or white choco. Okay, so the theme of this month's Splatfest in Splatoon 3 is, what is your favorite kind of chocolate? Is it dark chocolate, milk chocolate, or white chocolate? In my family, I am the designated dark chocolate eater because nobody else in my family likes dark chocolate for some reason. So whenever we get dark chocolate, I'm the guy that's forced to eat all of it. So even though I can eat dark chocolate, I don't actively look for it. So if it were up to me, I would definitely go for milk chocolate more. I don't even like white chocolate. White chocolate doesn't even have any cacao or cocoa in it. But I don't know. The only time I would actually like eating white chocolate is if it's part of a cookie. Like, Mrs. Fields. They have white chocolate macadamia. That's the good stuff. But aside from that, it's nothing really. But yes, you could definitely vote in the poll in the chat, and we'll see. Reeker says, Serjay, can you demand me to do my assignments? You know what'll be funnier, Reeker? If you have the channel points for it, you can make me tell you to do it in one of the many voice options as well. So it's not just me demanding. It's me demanding in a funny voice. Reeker says, oh yes, dark chocolate is also my I think you mean go-to. But my brother would always say it's healthier, so my mom would approve. Ah, yeah, I see what you mean. They always say, oh, it's dark chocolate is always healthier for you, you know? So you gotta do the dark chocolate because that's good for you, you know? Dark chocolate and wine. More protein, less carbohydrates. Gosh, I really need to fix my diet. I can exercise and I can go to the gym all I want, but my diet is still trash. Hello, Striz. Hey, breakfast stream. Good morning, and good morning to you. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? And yeah, we're just talking about a bunch of things, and hope you are doing well. We're actually running a poll in the chat right now. We're talking about what is your favorite chocolate type. So do you prefer dark chocolate, white chocolate, or milk chocolate? Excuse me. So yeah, that's what we've got right now. And Reeker says, more suffering, more healthy. Yes. Unfortunately, living is suffering. That's just the nature of the thing. But, you know, it do be like that sometimes. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, it's something that we're going to be doing probably tomorrow evening. I haven't played Splatoon in a while, and I'm just excited for the upcoming DLC content because we're getting potentially more story DLC. So that's something I'm really looking forward to. But, you know, I'm not really I don't really have the habit, of, you know, playing competitive games. So, Valo, Apex, a bunch of those games that are really popular with the Philippine VTuber community. I'm not really into those. And also, I'm not really good at those. And also, if I do stream those, chances are it's gonna fry my laptop. I can play them, but I've tried playing them on stream, but for some reason it just doesn't work well with OBS. But I do know that Apex Legends is available on the Switch, so all I need is to wait for Valorant to be available on the Switch, and we can play. But I do know there is a game similar to Valorant on the Nintendo Switch right now called Rogue Company. I'm not sure if you all are familiar with that game, Rogue Company. But it's supposed to be... I think the makers of that are also Hi-Rez. I think it's Hi-Rez. It's the same peeps that made Paladins or Fortnite. I'm not sure. I need to double check. But that's like an alternative to Valorant. And that one is available on the Nintendo Switch. So if that one is more popular with the VTuber community, then I could say, oh yeah, I could join you. But you know, we cope with the hands that we are dealt with. Striz says, I like dark choco. I also like coffee. I like coffee with choco a lot. So you like mocha. Cafe mocha, pretty much, Striz. You know, for me nowadays, I actually enjoy a Spanish latte more when I order my coffee. It's coffee with some condensed milk. So that's the good stuff. Reeker says, oh yes, Valorant is coming to mobile. Oh yes, that's gonna be really good then for people. Oh, and it looks like you also know about Rogue Company. That's nice. That's nice. And Reeker says, I also love Paladins because it gives me frames better than Overwatch 2. I see. And you know, I did play Paladins a lot in my Nintendo Switch back in the day. If you need a healer, if you need a Genos, or if you need what was his name? The guy that has like the thunder rod that also does the healing. Or Barrick, which is like their version of Torbjorn, then I'm your guy. We could definitely play. Oh yeah, so there's that, and it's a lot, you know. There's a lot of things we got to do, and a lot of things we got to play. But we would also like to welcome Husk. Husk, good to have you here. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? And thank you for the resub for 5 months. Glad to have you here. Welcome, and we could probably have a special room for you in the Color Surfer station where you could do your broadcasts. Yes. Yeah, Reeker. Paladins is on the Switch. It has been on the Switch for a bunch of years now. So it's really good. And hello, Husk. How are you? And Striz is saying, I used to play Paladins, but they removed it in my local computer safe since it's not that... Oh, cafe, maybe. That's what you're trying to say. Or whatever. Since it's not popular here, so I couldn't play it lately. Ah, yeah. I understand. And Reeker says, is it crossplay? I heard it is. I heard that it is crossplay. So I just couldn't get it to work. The account for my Switch couldn't go on my Steam account. So there's that. But I'll try to make it work somehow. Husk says, are you interested in Metroid Remastered on the Switch, Serjay? Yeah, I am. Truth be told, I kind of feel overwhelmed. Or I kind of felt overwhelmed when I played, what's this? Super Metroid on the Nintendo Switch with the what's this? The SNES for lack of collection. Man, those controls felt like they were breaking my fingers. You know, I don't like some retro games because of that. Because it's like you're not only trying to deal with the enemies, but you're also trying to deal with the awful controls. And I thought I gave my fingers arthritis as I played because the controls were just awful. So say what you want about modern games, at least they have an easier or what's this? It feels a lot easier to do. And yeah, I'm aware that Metroid Prime is an FPS actually. So I think that's definitely something that Metroid could have been, you know? I think it lends itself better as an FPS or a shooter compared to the platforming Metroidvania that it is. But definitely I want to give it a try. But I also want to try Metroid Dread as well because I know that's an amazing game. I really hope we could get a Steam Deck. If you want to go ahead and donate to Serjay, wink wink, maybe I should open a throne. Yeah. And then Striz says, I main Lex and Ying. Oh, that's nice. One support and one flank or assassin role. Very interesting, very interesting. And it looks like we now have a winner in our poll. Looks like dark chocolate is the winner in our poll between your favorite kind of chocolate. Dark chocolate, milk chocolate, and funny thing, nobody picked white chocolate. Good job, people. Good job. Husk says, it makes me even want to get a Switch even more now. I understand. Definitely true. I'm just looking forward to Zelda. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom also. And definitely to the updated Splatoon content. especially with their DLC story mode side order. So we'll see how that turns out. Definitely looking forward to that. And I know that Xenoblade is gonna get its own content as well. I really should play the games. I know I've only played a tiny bit of Xenogears back on the PlayStation 1 many eons ago. But I think trying to go through Xenoblade will be nice as well. And welcome, Bread. Wow. Amazing. Good to have you here. And thank you very much for sharing your community, Bread. Glad to have you here. Welcome, and good morning as well. And Jegokage says, can I trauma dump? Thank you for asking for permission, but I think we've already passed that segment. But if you definitely want to go ahead and join, we can go ahead and talk about that later. But yes, Bread, thank you once again for dropping by. Glad to have you here. My name is Serjay Svek. I am your color surfing DJ, broadcasting live from the color server station in the fair Isle of Serjavia. And we are just talking about the Nintendo Direct yesterday, especially since I am primarily a streamer that plays games on the Nintendo Switch, like Splatoon, Dark Souls, Sifu, and a bunch of other things. And, excuse me, you just made it in time to my weekly DJ Serjay stream, where every Friday I talk about a bunch of things. So I call it reverse gatekeeping. I call it gate opening because some people prefer not to talk about their interests or keep their interests away from other people. No, I force you to listen to my interests. So if you're in for a little bit of ranting, you're very welcome to stay. And what's this? Oh, and thank you for the follow, Jego. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. You love my voice. Why? I appreciate that. Thank you. And Jego says, I got trauma on Bread's stream. She bombarded us with riddles. And Bread is just saying, don't blame me. I see. I'm probably going to go back into the VOD and then see what happened, what led to this. Because that now my curiosity is piqued. I want to go ahead and see what's happening. Mecha is also... Oh my. I'm blaming you, Bread. You're gaslighting. Goodness gracious. What happened during the stream, Bread? My gosh. Your community is saying some very interesting things. But yes, for all the newcomers here, since we deal with color, one of my themes is that we do... what's this? Yes, if you go ahead and enter exclamation point color, you can go ahead and find your color fortune of the day. Don't worry, it's not a riddle, okay? It's just fortune, all right? It's fine. Gosh, I just came from work and I'm still a bit sick, so I had to get my what's this? My balm. I don't have any white flour. Goodness gracious, where's my white flour? Thank you for the lurk, Bread, and I'll do my best to take care of the bread batch. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate you once again for sharing your community with me. Thank you. So yeah, Splatoon is definitely on the list. What's this? Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, definitely. I missed the Direct, actually, so you'll have to tell me if there's anything new, any kind of new games that are coming to the Switch that I would look forward to. Because I'm still focusing on a bunch of other things, like finishing my Dark Souls playthrough. So if Husk manages to make it to my stream tomorrow evening, so for those of you who don't know, I'm regularly streaming on Saturdays and Sundays, 8 p.m. Philippine time. So that's 8 p.m. plus 8 GMT or UTC. And I'm really torn tomorrow evening whether to play Dark Souls or Splatoon 3. Enrico says, have you finished Breath of the Wild? Yes, it is my very first Zelda game. actually. I tried, what was this? A Link to the Past, which is available on the SNES edition, collection rather. It wasn't fun. I might try Skyward Sword because it's also available on the Switch, but I'll take a look at that. But definitely Tears of the Kingdom, I will look into that. And also, thank you for the follow, Nakura Senpai. Glad to have you here. Thank you for becoming a fellow human. Appreciate it. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, what about for you, Reeker? Was Breath of the Wild also your first Zelda game, or have you been playing the series before? Oh, right. Yeah. Nakra Senpai says GB and GB Game Boy and Game Boy Advance emulator was also announced. Right. Yeah, I should go ahead and take a look at that. Thank you for the tip. Yeah, okay. But I'm not sure if when you say the Game Boy emulator, Nakura, are you saying the green regular Game Boy, or are you talking about Game Boy Color? Sorry, I really missed the direct. I had work at the time. So Skinner, good to have you here. Welcome. And Skinner says, "Is Nintendo Online expansion worth the buck?" Yeah, I'm fine with it. I like it because, for one thing, it allows me to play Splatoon, for one, and also because, if you like the retro games, then definitely you can go ahead and play a bunch of options, especially if you like to take your Switch on the go. So it's definitely something that you might enjoy. Yeah, I think that's a good. If you're looking for something like that, then definitely look into it. I personally keep subscribing to Nintendo Online because I want to play some of the retro games. It's just, the funny thing is that ever since I started streaming, I found it a lot more difficult to actually try and play a game off stream. You know, I feel like when I want to play a game, it always has to be on stream. I want to make my viewers the part of the journey, you know? So it's another bad habit that I need to break. That, Serjay, you gotta play games by your own sometimes, But that's just how it is. And yeah, if you want to go ahead and get the membership, Skinner, I suggest you get the family membership. Definitely a lot cheaper, and you can definitely round up a few friends to be able to, contribute along with that. Definitely a good idea. Thank you for the suggestion, Nakura. Okay, what else? What else can we talk about? Yeah, I need it for Splatoon. You need to have a Nintendo Switch Online for playing Splatoon, actually. That's the way you'll need that. So if you don't have that, then you can't play Splatoon. So it's pretty much a requirement for me, who is sort of, quote-unquote, a Splatoon streamer. So yeah. Hello, Fulmania. Glad to have you here. Welcome, and good morning. As you would say, good and yeah. Reeker says, any collabs coming up? I don't know. If I have any collabs coming up. I'm shy. I'm shy when it comes to asking for collabs. But especially because, well, I'm not sure if I can play the games that a number of you are playing. But if it's something that I can play, then definitely I'll go ahead and do it. But I'm shy asking for invites. Maybe if I feel a bit more courageous, I would. But I'll think about it. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed my last collab when I played Crab Game and Fall Guys. So we'll see. We'll see what we have in the future. But if I were to play Splatoon tomorrow evening, then most likely I would be playing with my good friend Ren, who is a fellow Splatoon streamer. We go way back. And also wish him luck because he is actually playing as part of a tournament featuring teams from Southeast Asia and Oceania. And he has been doing that for quite a while now. So yeah, just a bit of a conscious support as well. We're part of a group together, he and I. And yeah, just show support to an old friend. And what else? But if I'm not in the mood to play Splatoon, because, well, best multiplayer game of 2022 still has a bunch of connection problems, I might end up playing Dark Souls instead. So, yeah. If ever, if ever my coach, quote unquote, Husk, is available, then I will be needing your help to help me get out of the catacombs, because I'm stuck over there. But yeah. But definitely, I'm very glad that I did take part in those collabs. The Fall Guys and the Crab game. It was chaotic, but definitely fun. I loved being part of those opportunities. And I'm grateful for Leon and Vanessa for extending the invites to me. Really appreciate it. So maybe, excuse me. Sorry. But yeah, if we definitely get an opportunity in the future, we can go ahead and maybe do some collabs of our own. Maybe some other things like Crab Game also, or anything that's free. I'm actually thinking one of these days to try out Kart Rider Drift, because I know that it's also one of those free games on Steam that maybe we can collab with. Either that or Stumble Guys, or something else. I forgot what it was. But it's like the free equivalents of those games on Steam. Because, you know, as much as I would like to ask people, hey, do you want to collab on Splatoon? You know, the fact of the matter is that it's on the Switch exclusive, and you have to pay, not only for the game, but also for the Nintendo Switch Online. So it's not the most accessible game for people that I can collab with, which is understandable. So, yeah. Excuse me. Reeker says, tried playing Kart Rider, but my device has issues. Oh, no. I hope it can get fixed. And just like what was mentioned earlier in the stream, Reeker, maybe it's time to finally get a Steam Deck, rather. Oh, my goodness. I don't know. I always thought that my Nintendo Switch would probably be my last console for a long time, but the Steam Deck is looking very tempting. Especially since if I do get a Steam Deck, from how I understand, it's going to take a lot of weight and processing power off my laptop. So we don't have to worry about lagging and dropping frames and stuff, which is going to be a big, big help. Big, big help for me. That would be really, really fun. Definitely a lot of fun. Excuse me. Nakara says, Steam Deck is really good. Oh, do you have a Steam Deck, Nakara? Yeah, feel free to let me know. Feel free to let the class know. Can play computer games portable at home too. Nice, nice. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much like the selling point of the Steam Deck. It's like a Nintendo Switch, but you're not just limited to Nintendo games. So, definitely something for me to look into, especially if I want to get even more into VTubing and streaming, because I've been streaming for a couple of years now, but you know, this is the only time when I think I've really tried to be a bit more serious about it, because you know, especially when I plunged into the VTubing rabbit hole, because you know, I've watched VTubers for 2 years now. Oh no, excuse me, why do I keep saying 2 years? Since 2020. No, not even 2020, 2019. And now, I only took the plunge as a VTuber in September of last year, 2022, and it's been a heck of a wild ride. So, yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm very happy for the modest community that I built, and a bunch of other things. Reeker says, I would love to have Steam Deck and play games while on the couch. And yeah, that's definitely something that I think would be amazing to have with the Steam Deck. And Ren, good morning to you. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you here. Good to know that you made it to work. And also, once again, everybody, the man of the hour, my good friend Ren Connect, Splatoon streamer, contender, and of course, someone who is contending in Ocean Inc. Season 9, and an old friend of mine. So, yeah, good to have you here, Ren. I hope that Midnight will kick even more butt in the next few matches of Ocean Inc. So, good luck with that, old friend. But yeah, I'm very glad that you were able to drop by, sir. We're gonna be running a very quick ad, so I'll just step away. I need to get some snacks. If you need to go ahead and hydrate or do whatever, feel free to do so, and we'll definitely be right back. Before we still have a few more things to talk about before 8 a.m. in the morning. So thanks everybody for your patience. I'll just step away real quick and run some ads, and we'll be right back. Serjay is always watching you. Always. Be nice. Hey there, welcome back, everybody. And looks like we got a bit of a lively chat here. First, Nakra, thank you very much for the lurk. And Reeker says, or rather, Ren says, our next game is tomorrow in the afternoon. Good luck with that, Ren. Good luck with that. And Reeker says, oh, good luck, Ren. Give the enemy a little mercy. Yeah, Ren, don't bulldoze them, okay? I know Midnight is one of the best teams in the Philippines for Splatoon, but yeah, show a little mercy. And hello, Simone. Good morning to you. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you here. And yes, if you want to go ahead and follow an artist, a Filipino artist and streamer as well, but that focuses on black and white art, amazing black and white art, go ahead and check out Simone. Really, really good. Even the Twitch panels alone just blows my mind. You know, just brings back memories of like Frank Miller and stuff. Amazing. You can do a lot with just black and white. So, yeah, go ahead and check out Simone. Yeah. So anyway, we were just talking about the Nintendo Direct. A lot of things to be excited about. And looking forward to the future of more Nintendo Switch games. I hope for a long time, because I really hope Nintendo doesn't make another console. Anytime soon, please, Nintendo. I do feel a bit bad, though, for those who've been wanting to get PS5s or PlayStation 5s, because it's like, you know, the PlayStation 5 has been out for a couple of years now, but because of the pandemic and because of, you know, all the people that have been getting the PS5s, it's like there's been a shortage of proper PS5 games because of all of these circumstances. So a lot of the developers still have to focus on, you know, making sure that they are still compatible with PlayStation 4 as a result. So it's a lot of, you know, at least for Nintendo, we just have one console. But I really hope that they don't launch what they've been calling like the Nintendo Switch Pro or whatever they call it anytime soon. Because I don't want to spend more money on another console. But if I do want to spend more money on a console, I probably would be spending it on a Steam Deck. If anyone in the chat has bought a Steam Deck, feel free to let me know what it's like. I definitely would like to check it out. Maybe in the future. That will finally give me an excuse to play Red Dead Redemption and Resident Evil without destroying my laptop. And yes, once again, if you want to go ahead and check out your color fortune of the day, enter !color. And also, since we're going to be wrapping up pretty soon, if you want to go ahead and hang out with me offline, we have my Discord server available. If you want to go ahead, especially to talk about food and maybe a few jokes here and there, feel free to go ahead and check out the Color Surfer Station. Simone says, might ask my boss about the Steam Deck. He owns one. Like, sheesh! Well, that's definitely a sheesh moment right there, Simone. Goodness. I know that's not an easy thing to get. So just the fact that your boss has a Steam Deck, it's amazing, amazing. I really am amazed at how people are able to get these kinds of consoles. Even more, the PlayStation 5, because people are paying like an arm and a leg to be able to get a PlayStation 5 at this point in time. So definitely, if you have any news to share, feel free to go ahead and share it. I would like to know. I would love to know. Tomorrow you're planning SR or Salmon Run for Splatoon? I am not sure about Salmon Run, Ren. It's possible I may play the Splatfest instead. So for those of you who don't know about Splatoon 3, it happens, well, before in the older games it happens once a month, but sometimes it happens But now in Splatoon 3, it happens like maybe every other month, that there will be a topic that you will pick, and then you will fight representing that team for that topic. So, for this particular Splatfest, we have a topic called "What is your favorite kind of chocolate?" So, since we have a lot of people who came in from the raids earlier, I want to go ahead and ask that poll question again, and then see what you all have to think. So, oh no, Jables, you're just in time. You're just in time. I mean, you're here. I'm still online, right? So, yeah. So, just a second. So, feel free to go ahead and vote in the chat. What is your favorite kind of chocolate? Is it what's this? Is it dark chocolate, milk chocolate, or white chocolate? And Aphex, hello, welcome Aphex. Thank you for the question. Sorry if you've already been asked this before, but what records do you have on your desk? Ah, a keen eye. I see. So, yeah, nobody has asked this question before, so thank you for asking that. These records are actually a bunch of original music that my friends and I made. So, a bunch of silly songs and ballads. So, if it's a silly song, chances are it's me who was the one who composed it and sang it. And but if it's more of a ballad, then that's usually my good friend Miles. So if you want to go ahead and check out the music, that's actually available on my YouTube channel as well. So feel free to go ahead and check out the links of my band Traisikat. And just for the non-Filipino viewers out there, that is what's this? There are some Tagalog or Filipino songs, so just be mindful of that. But if you're learning, I have put the lyrics on screen, so they are lyric videos, so they should be a little more accessible. You'll be able to hear some of our best singles, such as ADF Sharp Minor E, and also The Bathroom Song, which is the story about how Miles and I met, my best friend, because he was asking me about where the restroom was in high school, and then I told him angrily, "It's down there, it's downstairs, can't you see the sign?" And that became the chorus. Jable says, "Be right back, Serjay, gonna put me close out." Sure, no worries about that. And Aphex says, "I'll make sure to give it a listen. Thank you for the response. You're very welcome." Ren Connect says, "I also choose dark. As dark as your heart." Just kidding. But look at that. This is like the second poll in a row. People like dark chocolate more than milk chocolate. I am amazed. Because growing up, in my family, at least, I am the designated dark chocolate eater. I don't like dark chocolate. Well, no. Let me rephrase that. I don't mind dark chocolate. I can eat it, but I'm not gonna go look for it and buy it, if ever. But if it's there, it's there. I'll eat it, sure, because someone has to. But if it's milk chocolate, I prefer that. I definitely prefer that, especially if it's my personal. If I want to spoil myself, my personal favorite chocolate brand is Ritter Sport with hazelnuts. That's the good stuff, in my opinion. What's your favorite kind of chocolate brand? Do you like Ferrari rocking chair? Or Sneakers? Or something? Yeah. Join the dark side. I already have a dark side, Reeker. That's why I want to have milk chocolate. And surprise, surprise, this is the second poll in a row. Nobody is picking white chocolate. Very interesting. That's the right choice. Because if you think about it, white chocolate is not chocolate. It's just milk. There's no cocoa in it, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ren, because you're the guy with the culinary skills. So there's that. And thank you, Aphex, for becoming a fellow human and for following. Appreciate it very much. And if any of you, especially for those coming in from the raids, are interested in seeing more of my content, if you like what you see and you love what you hear, feel free to go ahead and give me a follow as well, if you want to. And again, I will be streaming again tomorrow evening, 8 p.m. Philippine time. That's plus 8 GMT, plus UTC. It's either going to be Dark Souls or Splatoon, and on Sunday, it will be another episode of Return of the Obra Dinn. I love that mystery series. It's also made by the same creators of Papers, Please, Lucas Pope. And hello, good morning. Okay, everybody, I want you all to turn down your headphones or your volume just for just a tiny bit, okay? Because we want to go ahead and say hello to Rene. Dark Choco for the win. Okay, here we go. Hello, Rene. Good morning. Okay. Yeah. If we were still part of children's parties, I think nobody would beat me in those games. Because if you're in the Philippines, a very popular children's party game is the one where you just say, for example, "Happy birthday, Reeker!" So you have to say it for a very, very long time. You have to hold the note like that. Flex. Yeah. Well, I can deal with duration, but Rene has volume. Rene has volume, which I envy. Definitely. So yeah, so it looks like I have learned today I have learned that my viewers actually like dark chocolate. So I am not alone. When it comes to dark chocolate, man, that is such a relief. Goodness gracious. That is such a relief right there. No longer have to worry about dark chocolate. Or rather, I don't have to worry about being the designated dark chocolate eater. Because my viewers also like dark chocolate, apparently. That's a relief. That's a relief. And yeah, it's going to be the weekend, so a lot of you will all be streaming. So if you are a streamer and you have a bunch of things planned, feel free to go ahead and let us all know. Definitely. We definitely will be welcoming all of you as best as we can. And thank you once again for making me a part of your day. I appreciate that, especially very early in the morning in the Philippines. It's always greatly appreciated. Thank you. So, with that being said, I know we talked about quite a few heavy topics earlier, especially with, how I was feeling lately, how I feel about sharing stuff. So for those of you who chose to stick by, I greatly appreciate that. It means a lot to me. So it's not going to be easy, trying to be open and sharing, making yourself vulnerable, especially when it comes to people that, might not always be so receptive. But if you do have a friend, if you do have a family member that is willing to listen, then I think it's best if you appreciate that. Because definitely they're a rarity in these days. And if you have a community that you're building, especially as a streamer, that's something that I think I appreciate more. And I think that's why, even if it was a heavy topic, I felt a little more at ease sharing it with you all. Because, I feel it's a lot easier to share it with a lot more people than with one person. Because it just feels different, So, before we go, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody here. So, again, Graham, Itchy, Bread, thank you very much for the raids. And for Husk, thank you again for the 5 months. And for the new followers, Jego, Nakura, and Aphex. Appreciate it very much. And once again, if you like what you see and you love what you hear, feel free to go ahead and follow me on Twitch. And you can also follow my socials as well, which are in the in the about page of my Twitch, and also this video will be available on my YouTube around tomorrow night. Just search for Serjay Svek, but without the underscore. And if you want to catch me offline, if you want to hear me talking about food and jokes and a bunch of other things, you have my Discord server available. So definitely feel free to go ahead and give it a try. And yeah, you're more than welcome to join. So now that we are done with that, we have reached the end of the poll. And once again, dark chocolate wins. Goodness gracious. At least this time, I am no longer alone. We have someone else who actually picked milk chocolate. But yet again, nobody picked white chocolate. Which is a very big surprise for me. So, good job, peeps. And now it'll be my turn to raid someone. So, if you are joining the raid, this is the regular raid message, and we have the subscriber raid message. If you are already subscribed to me, you can use my emotes. White chocolate is too sweet. Yeah, that's why I don't like white chocolate. It's way too sweet. The only time I would actually eat white chocolate is if it's like part of cookies. And thank you, Aphex. Yes, fellow milk chocolate enjoyer. That's the good stuff right there. You know, it's the just right. Not too bitter, not too sweet. I have way too much bitterness in my life already. Oh my goodness. Enough of my sappy jokes. We're going to be rating Tomato Pasta, who is... Darn it, I always keep putting the wrong command. We're going to be rating Tomato Pasta, who is currently playing Apex Legends on Twitch. So if you have the raid message, go ahead and say hello and be good. And hopefully I'll see you again on the next stream. But even if I don't, I hope that I was able to bring a bit more color to your day, especially for those of you who are going to be taking your day in the Philippines. It's 7:59 a.m. This time check was brought to you by your favorite color surfing DJ, Serjay Svek, broadcasting live from the Color Surfer station on the fair Isle of Serjavia. You take care, always stay safe, and keep the world turning, okay? Bye now.